The first division of English football, re-envisioned in 1992 as the Premier League, has been running continuously for over 100 years, and throughout that time there have been plenty of dark moments that tend to be pushed under the carpet in hopes that they don't tarnish the sport we all love. So, in today's video, we'll be going through the Premier League Iceberg to uncover some of these secrets. I will be focusing on the more recent events to give this a more modern spin, but if you are also interested in the older stuff too, I'd recommend this video here by vizeh. If you aren't familiar with the Iceberg format, the more well-known and lighter events are at the top with the darker and more obscure ones down the bottom. So, just like Arsenal this season, we'll start at the top and work our way down. You may have seen this weirdly comedic video of a strange lady yelling at Norwich fans. If not, I'll show you it now.
A message for the best football supporters in the world. Where are you? Where are you? Let's be having you!
That is Delia Smith, a well-known English cook and television presenter who was a common sight amongst Norwich fans in the early half of the 2000s. Being a majority shareholder of the club since the 1990s, she had actually been around the club for a while. It was during the 2004-2005 season, however, where she reached her breaking point. Playing against Manchester City at Carrow Road, whilst being 19th in the league and 5 points from safety, Smith decided to take matters into her own hands. At halftime, Norwich had already blown a vital 2-0 lead, causing Smith to charge onto the pitch with a microphone and, in front of over 20,000 Norwich fans, recite those immortal lines. In true Norwich fashion, they went on to lose the game 3-2 and eventually end up relegated. On May the 13th, 2012, Manchester United were just minutes away from securing yet another Premier League title. Meanwhile, rivals Man City were 2-0 down against QPR. If City had managed to win their game against QPR, they would successfully clinch the PL title away from their neighbours. So when Edin Dzeko equalised in the 92nd minute, it was exciting, but ultimately seemed like too little too late. Then, 2 minutes later, Sergio Aguero nets another, securing City the title and creating the iconic moment we all remember.
Manchester City are still alive here. Balotelli, Aguero!
The controversy arose when none other than Wayne Rooney raised a question surrounding QPR's behaviour in the final minutes. Right after Dzeko's equaliser, QPR booked the ball out of play for a Man City throw-in, which is subsequently taken and, just a minute later, is slipped into the goal by Aguero. Rooney also questioned why Djibril Cissé, a QPR player, was celebrating the result with the City team after the game. The widely accepted reason for this is that not only did the win secure the title for City, but QPR had just survived relegation thanks to other results that morning, so they were all probably overjoyed at the historic moment. The Spurs Lasagna incident, or lasagnegate for short, was the name given to a strange incident on the 6th of May 2006. Fighting for Champions League football, Spurs only needed to match Arsenal's result against Wigan in their own game against West Ham to secure a top 4 finish. However, on the morning of the match, 10 of Spurs' main players became extremely ill. The cause was tracked back to a lasagna that those 10 players had eaten the night before at the hotel that they were staying at. As a result, Spurs asked for the game to be delayed, but this wasn't allowed. Ultimately, they ended up losing their match against West Ham, with Arsenal's win against Wigan knocking Spurs out of the top 4. The question started being asked when it was pointed out that the Arsenal team were staying at the hotel just across the road. This raised conspiracies of Arsenal staff sneaking in and poisoning the lasagna that ultimately ended Tottenham's Champions League dreams. This one is slightly fresher in the mind, as just last season a video was posted of West Ham defender Kurt Zouma kicking his pet cat around his house. Both him and his brother were sentenced to 180 hours of community service and banned from having cats for 5 years. The video was taken by the younger brother, Johan, who sent it to a girl he was trying to impress on Snapchat. She replied, "Don't bother coming today," cancelling their upcoming date and sending the video to the press. Eden Hazard was part of the Chelsea team that was faced with taking on Swansea to reach the League Cup final. 2-0 down from the first leg, the second leg saw the Blues travel away where they needed a big win to secure their spot in the final. After the ball went out of play, Hazard became frustrated with a ball boy who was taking abnormally long to hand the ball back and resume play. The Belgian tried to force the ball off the child and then ended up kicking him, claiming he was aiming for the ball. The kid, Charlie Morgan, had tweeted before the match about how he would help Swansea by slowing down the play if given the chance. Despite this, he has actually gone on to found his own multi-million-pound business empire. Nigeria were warming up just hours before their final group game against Argentina in the 2018 Russia World Cup. Needing a draw to avoid being knocked out, it was a highly anticipated match. Whilst on the bus to the stadium, the Nigeria captain, John Obi Mikel, received a call from a family member telling him that Mikel's father had been kidnapped and that he had to call the kidnappers on a secure number. When he did so, he was told that he had to pay a ransom for his father's safety and that if he reported it to anyone, then his father would be executed. The Nigerian captain later said he didn't tell anyone at the camp, partially because he didn't want to be a distraction before the game. Despite somehow being able to play the full 90 minutes, Nigeria lost 2-1 and were knocked out of the tournament. He later said, "I played while my father was in the hands of bandits." Mikel's father was safely released later on. November 1996, Southampton manager Graham Souness, "I've played the game," answers a call from a person claiming to be George Weah, who had just won the Ballon d'Or and was at AC Milan at the time. Weah was insistent that Souness should trial his cousin, a striker called Ali Daei. The alleged Weah said that Daei had played with him at PSG and also had 13 caps for Senegal. Souness, who allegedly watched the mysterious Ali Daei play once in a 5-a-side match and signed him to a 1-month contract. He ended up making the bench against Leeds later that month and somehow was substituted for an injured Lee Tizier in the 32nd minute. In what was later described as like watching Bambi on ice, Ali Daei's performance was so terrible that he was substituted back off the pitch and never played for the team again. Unsurprisingly, Daei had never actually played professional football before. He managed to then later on secure football at another club, Gateshead, who were non-league at the time. He played for them 8 times, scoring 2 goals, including one in his debut, and then went to Northumbria University in Newcastle, where he studied business administration. Whilst on holiday in Madrid in 2011, Marcos Alonso, playing for Bolton at the time, was involved in a crash when his BMW collided with a stone wall in the centre of the Spanish capital. 1 passenger was killed while 2 others were injured. It was later revealed that Alonso, who was driving, was suspected of being over the legal blood alcohol limit, making him liable of negligent homicide and causing reckless injury. He was initially charged with 21 months in prison, which was later changed to a €61,000 fine and a driving ban of 3 years. Emiliano Sala was an Argentinian striker for French club Nantes, who, in January of 2019, joined Cardiff City for a club record transfer fee of £15 million. Having completed his medicals, Sala was set to fly to Cardiff on the 21st of January in order to attend his first training session with the new club. Whilst somewhere over the English Channel, the Piper Malibu aircraft carrying both Sala and the pilot disappeared. After an extensive search of the channel, wreckage was found some 63 meters below the surface, 44 kilometers off the coast of Guernsey. 1 body was identified and was confirmed as being that of Emiliano Sala. A later post-mortem went to show a concerningly high level of carbon monoxide. This led the authorities to determine that both him and the pilot had encountered the gas, leading to drowsiness and eventual loss of consciousness. This was the final message received from Sala. If you've made it this far, I hope you enjoyed the video. Please do let me know what you thought of it in the comments section, and remember to subscribe if you would like to see more. By the way, there won't be any videos for about 2 weeks while I'm overseas, but do check out this video where Danny Irons reacted to a video I posted on him.